Hello, my friends. This is Andy coming to you live from California on the Andy Falco Show. And I have a great announcement. Finally, iHeartRadio has approved the podcast. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to probably remind you day after day here for the next couple weeks. And that is, if you wouldn't mind. Now, whether you listen to podcasts or not, you should. While you're driving and that kind of stuff, you should listen to my show and re-listen to my shows. But if you would just subscribe, that would be so good, because I am being throttled like crazy on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, like crazy. And it's because I'm using facts, right? I'm telling truths and facts. And the more you do that, the more Facebook hates that, the more that YouTube hates it, Twitter. And so the podcast, nobody can affect that. It just goes on, and you subscribe and you get to listen. So go to iHeartRadio, go to the Andy Falco Show. You'll see that I have 3 different shows, 3 different podcasts. You can subscribe to all of them if you want. When you subscribe, it doesn't mean that you're going to be automatically, played in any versions, but it helps me. And that's what I would appreciate that very much. So go to iHeartRadio. You can go to Apple Podcasts. You can go to Spotify. I'm on all of the major podcasting platforms, not Amazon Music yet that I can tell. I'm not sure if I applied for that or not. It looks like I have to still submit for that, but who cares about Amazon? They're making enough money as it is. Go to Apple Podcasts, you go to Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and go ahead and do that. It just got approved. It must have been like within the last hour, because I've been clicking on it every day, and yet it has not gone through. If you're watching, please comment. Please let me know what you're thinking. I know it's late. It's 8 o'clock at night, but I just could not. I was trying to let this go, but I cannot let go of this fact, because I keep seeing people. Look at, I'm going to share my screen here and show the story of people saying that, oh man, am I going to use the right one? I hate it. It's labeled. I got 2 of them labeled here. I may not hit the right one the first time. Nope, of course I didn't. Hold on. That's later. For later in the show. All right, hold on. I'm going to hit the right one this time, I think. Shoot. Now I can't remember if it was the first one or second one that I clicked on. Oh, dang it. Son of a gun. All right, I deleted that other one that I'm going to play later. That was actually the most important one. So here, I'm getting so many you can't imagine how many messages that I get. I got 12 messages in the last 45 minutes. But you see here, this is the story on Trump Americans who died in war are losers and suckers. This is all on my page, right? They're all coming through. There was even one before this, I think. Nope, this is one. Here's another one. Contribute to the, that's the Donald Trump ad. Well, now it's changed. Oh, here it is. Here's another one. Analysis. Trump often sees an American landscape of losers and suckers, right? These are coming on my page. Here's my friend Vic. He and I were police officers. He was a police officer. I trained him in his police dog. Another idiot there who's voting for Biden. And so I keep seeing this stuff, and you can argue with them. I mean, these are people that are just deranged, right? We have some deranged people that truly think that what they are getting fed is fact. And if you didn't see my my Facebook Live last night called "How Do You Kill 11 Million People," I would go back and watch that. I've been told it's really good. Now, I mostly read from this book right here, Andrew Andrews, and then I had some comparisons of that's happening right now, and that one of the ways, the way to kill 11 million people is you lie to them, and you say, "Listen, we're going to load you on this train, and we're gonna take you to a place where you're going to be able to work, and all kinds of cool things you're gonna have. We're going to give you free stuff, and we're going to take care of you. You don't have to worry about anything. We are the good guys. The other guy is evil." Everybody else is evil. Everybody's going to kill you. But what we're going to do is load you in this cattle car, and we're going to give you everything that you need. And your wife's not going to have to work. You are going to have a great job, and we're going to take care of your children. And then they put them in gas chambers, right? And that wasn't just Jews. There were, as we learned yesterday in my reading, it was a whole number of people, and not just Jews. Hey, Amy, nice to see you. Hey, Don, nice to see you. I know I'm coming on late for you guys. Well, I'm not sure where Don's at, but Amy's there in Texas. And Don, what is the source of that quote? Of which quote? I'm so sorry. Of which quote? Please tell me which one. What did I say? The quote that I'm never wrong. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. That one? Which one? I'm not sure which quote you're talking about. I'm so sorry. It was probably something on that Facebook page that I deleted. All right. Well, I'm talking to you. I'm going to have to find the video and cue it up to where I wanted it to be. I had it all perfectly lined up for that video I want to show you. There's a part in that kind of helps me let you know there's my show. It's live. And so what tonight, I'm just concerned. I mean, I'm beginning to get concerned for voters and friends of mine. I have friends that are like professors at major universities that you would know the name of. I have friends that are Christians that go to the church that I go to that have been saying some very bizarre stuff, like they believe this article that came out. I have friends that, just believe the craziest things, and that Gavin Newsom is doing a great job. Now I'm going to end up playing a video here. You're going to hear some noise, but I gotta cue this up here. There we go. I was able to mute it. And I'm really getting concerned because at some point I thought they would finally see the problem with their thought process and who it is that they are supporting. At some point you think, well, they're going to get better, right? I mean, they're going to get better. There, I'm sorry, I had to cue that up. And so I'm not seeing it. It's getting worse. And of course, like I say this often, I've made posts like this all the time. Military are losers. It was a quote out of a magazine. Don was asking about the military. It was a quote out of a magazine, a rag, that said, unknown sources. And it's a kind of a long story. So you can find it on my personal page. Well, maybe not. I don't think I actually posted the article. But I'll find the link and give it to you. And you know what? I know, Amy, can you do me a favor? Can you help Don out and get him one of those articles that says what Donald Trump supposedly said while he was, I think it was in Paris, if I'm remembering correctly, that he canceled speaking because dead Americans fighting in the war of World War I and World War II were losers because they died. And so you literally can't live in America today unless you so badly hate somebody that you yourself become deranged, right? That you yourself become brain damaged, that you can believe that this president that we have right here, the one who has rebuilt the military, who has put emphasis and focus on getting us out of endless wars because he doesn't want our military to be in a war where they potentially die for another country, right? We're busy protecting other countries that aren't paying us for our military. I mean, you can hear this repeated all the time. And it is either that they are stuck in this CNN, MSNBC. I'm so used to calling it MSDNC that I couldn't spell out MSNBC. Yeah, it's harder for me to say that than the other name that I've given it over the years. Like they're stuck in this world that they're beginning to just simply believe the lies. And this is the thing about this book. If you've not read this book, How You Kill 11 Million People, if you have not read this book and read this book, it's very thin. It's a great, great read. I'm telling you, ask Amy. Amy was one of the people who said that she happened to enjoy the episode yesterday where I read through a large portion of this book and correlated it with what exactly is happening today. That simply, if you lie big enough, a portion of the population that you are representing will begin to believe you, and you just keep repeating the lie, and that's what we're hearing, right? You know this, right? If you are listening to the news, and reading articles, and thank you, Amy, I appreciate that, and you can see that all the spokespeople, whether it's a politician or a media member or a host of a particular show, they all use the same phraseology. And in psychological terms and in academia, there are things where you're taught that you can persuade people through making a lie big and saying it often over and over and over again. And if you have a certain amount of people who will only believe what you're telling them and not go through the time or the effort to research to what it is they're saying. The best churches you go to are the churches where the pastors say, you know what I want you to do? I don't want you just to believe what I say. I don't want you to believe what's coming out of my mouth. I want you to research and follow up and actually read for yourself, cross-reference other apologetics professors. Good pastors will say, don't just listen to me, because I may be getting it wrong. Maybe my interpretation of what I'm reading is not exactly what God is trying to say. And so what I want you to do is question me. What I want you to do is question God. What I want you to do is question the Bible and research and do your own homework. But you have a large amount of people in this world who simply believe what they are told, and that is it. Right? They do nothing more than keep hearing that Donald Trump is a liar, that Donald Trump is a racist, that Donald Trump is destroying this country, that he's done nothing for this pandemic. That is the one that I just find so horrific. You've really, and there's a lot of people that have been convinced that Donald Trump has done nothing since the pandemic started but golf. Right? He did nothing in regard to China. He did nothing in regard to sending 2 ships to the East Coast and the West Coast with beds and refurbish the ships so they can accept COVID-19 patients. That none of that happened, right? That in New York, where they had the most deaths, he sent the most help because they had a governor up there that was killing people. And he had beds in the ship. He had beds in the, not the COVID center. That's what I want to call it. There is a center up there, and I forget, and they converted it into a large hospital with thousands of beds. They didn't use any of the beds. They didn't use any of the options that Donald Trump sent them. And yet somehow the deaths in the nursing homes are his fault. He's like, what? we cleared out a whole convention center. That was the word. A whole convention center and put beds in there. The army came in there and gave you beds. You used none of them. We sent a ship up to your port in New York, and you used 10 of the beds out of the 200 or 300, whatever amount of beds were in that ship. You used none of them. And yet you have people saying he did nothing. It has to be one of the craziest things you've ever heard. And so back to this book for just a minute. But the 11 million, sorry about that. I left your post up there. Sorry about that, Don. That when you read this book, it's a small book and so much information, so much truth is in this book about you just simply lie to them and tell them things that will convince them that you are the one who's going to take care of them, and that you are the party that needs to be followed. And this article comes out. Wow, there's a lot of stuff coming through right here. So let's change the subject quick. What happened? What'd I do? Oh, maybe amazing how Biden came out with a video the day after this lie came out. Yeah, I don't even know that it was a day. I mean, that again, I talked about that to somebody else, that how this article came out, I think you have to film an article, right? There has to be an editing process. I do a lot of editing on video. On video. You have to bring up clips. You have to put things together. You got to edit them together. You have to do. No, it's okay. Thank you, son. Yes, you can. I'm sorry. That's what you're waiting for? So sorry. I'm so focused on what I'm talking about. My son wanted to ask me something. And there's a lot to do, right? And then people have to approve it. And then you have to make sure that all the words are correct, all that kind of stuff. A lot has to be done in order to make a commercial about something. So the story comes out and a commercial comes out all at the same time. Are you trying to tell me that you, as a Democrat who is a voter, that you're willing to accept, right, that there's the source? We can't tell you who the source is. It's just some guy, right? Some guy said that Donald Trump said that that war veterans in World War II were losers because they died, right? And then you have a commercial that comes out miraculously, and I think it was within less than 24 hours that they had a commercial up. And then Biden's talking about it. And you really got it. And then, of course, before that, like 2 days before that, a poll came out. I've never seen this poll before. And it may have come out before, but there was a lot more emphasis put on by certain media outlets that the military prefers Biden over Trump, right? This poll came out like there is for me personally, as a I think clear-headed person in common sense, the way he had flown to Afghanistan, in the night without nobody knowing, and on Thanksgiving or Christmas, whenever it was, and Vice President Pence did the same thing, and other people in the administration flew over to have dinner and with these great warriors that we had in Afghanistan. That somehow that this president who has done so much, gave them all raises, right? Did so much work to the VA and gave them the option of getting their own doctors, as opposed to waiting weeks and months and sometimes years to be treated by a doctor in the VA, which often was not the best doctor on the planet, right? But gave veterans who needed medical attention that they could go to one of their own doctors. And you're going to tell me that Biden, right? I'm pretty sure military guys are smart enough to go, that's not who I want as my commander. A guy that can't get through a sentence is not somebody that I want as commander in chief. And you're going to tell me that they choose Biden over a warrior. And again, I know that you're going to say that he was a Dodger. Again, his past, not perfect, right? Whether that's true or not, I don't know. And at this point, I don't care. I want to know who he is now. What I know that he's done now is he cares a lot about the military. If some of it may be out of guilt. Have you ever thought about, maybe some of it's out of guilt that, you know what, God, I should have gone to war, or since I did that, I need to make up for it. Whatever the reason, he now is a great commander in chief. Okay, maybe let's just say that he was a little bit of a draft dodger in a way, or that he used his influence or his father's money and influence to not have to go to war. There were a lot of guys that didn't want to go to Vietnam coming out of the Vietnam era and Korea and that kind. It was a little sketchy. I'm not making an excuse. I would have gone to war if I had to, but he was younger, a different time, a different person, quite possibly. But who he is now is not somebody that hates the military. He simply is not somebody who hates the military. It is impossible that he said that. I'm telling you, it's impossible that he said that. And yet you have a group of people that are listening to what is being told to them by an unknown source. Again, you're listening to an unknown source. And nobody has any problem. This is the same guy, right? Biden. I'm going to go back to Biden. The same guy who you can see an officer fighting with a suspect, right? Tasing a suspect, a rapist, a domestic violence suspect, somebody who stuck his fingers in a woman and said, "It smells like you've been with a few men." That kind of guy that they're trying to wrestle with and tase, pointing guns at him, and then he goes for a weapon inside of his car, gets shot, and Biden says it's an unjustified shooting within 12 hours after it occurred. That this is the same guy that you are listening to, that, oh, he is a horrible guy that said this thing, when again, there's no facts to support that. And back to the subject matter of my and I know that I have to come back sometimes because I get so riled up, but I'm concerned for some seemingly intelligent people that are friends of mine, people that I've talked to, some people I've spent time with, some people I've taught next to. And I don't recognize you. Like, I really don't know what's wrong with you. It is so strange. I don't know if anybody, and I'm sure there's Biden has a VA scandal. Oh, I'm not sure what that is. Not a freaking chance. The military is voting for Biden. I know, but I know what I was going at. I was going, here is a poll, right? You not see how this gets all set up. This is all pre-planned. They are so transparent, right? The great thing, I've always said this, right? The great thing about Donald Trump is exposing the stupidity of the Democratic Party. He's exposing the evilness of the Democratic Party. He's exposing that they are just as dumb as rocks, literally dumb as rocks, that they thought that they would never be exposed, that they had spied using foreign governments to spy on our president and then accuse him of spying on accused him of being a spy for the Russian government. That you see how they do this constantly, and they keep getting caught, right? Adam Schiff got caught. And then they say that Donald Trump got caught. Donald Trump got caught. And then in the end, they get caught. Do you see? And yet there's people that are still like, at some point, you would think, I think that I've always thought that at some point, okay, I know that right now you feel that way, but at some point you're going to finally see what everybody else sees. right? You're going to see the obvious. You're going to see that they don't hide it. They have a poll that says the military is going to vote for Biden. They then have the story come out and they have an ad all within 3 days. You don't see the setup there. I mean, they're not smart enough to spread it out, right? They're not smart enough to at least wait, at least how long it would take for a company to go through a process of creating a commercial, which would be probably more like 3 or 4 days, maybe 5, maybe 3 days, right? They do these things pretty fast, but not within 24 hours of the story. The story came out. Let's make a commercial. We made a commercial and then put it up. No, it just doesn't really happen that way. And that is really, and had a phone call with him today. Rage is blind. The rage, right? And I think that's what's caused them to be ill. And I really do think they're ill. There's something. Let's see what this says here. Latest mainstream media lie. Trump calls fallen soldier. Oh, that's the article. Thank you. I need to scroll. I mean, I was getting hammered with these comments that were coming through. Amazing how I already read that one. Wow. All right. So you have all that, right? You have that they're exposed, and you see Nancy Pelosi telling you he's not wearing a mask, and blah, blah, and then she goes and does the very same thing. You see that of their eliteness, right, and their hypocrisy, that all gets exposed. So many things get exposed after exposure after exposure after exposure. Yes, but of course now when they're losing, right? That was the other thing I wanted to say. Now that he's given a couple speeches. I guess that's what you call him. He's given a couple readings and he can't get through the readings, right? Without stumbling, mumbling. I have no idea what he says half the time. I watch them for entertainment. That they take these things like Carol says that happened years ago. And now at the moment that they need them because they realize, wow, we made a huge mistake. Like how dumb are you? How dumb are you, Democratic voters, that you're looking at Biden as a guy you're going to vote for? Like that, I get all caught up because there's like 5 or 6 things. Like, wouldn't one of those things, like the fact that they spied on a president, like any president, I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, that you have a group of people that now you are lauding as fantastic people, spied on a candidate and then spied on the same candidate who became president. Like that should have been enough. Like, all right, I'm getting out of this party. They are nuts, right? They all need to go to jail for a very long time. From Biden, Obama, oh my gosh, what's the attorney's name? Can't remember her name. But Comey and all the guys, everybody that was in the Oval Office on the night they decided they were going to go after Flynn. All people. And so wouldn't that be enough? No. Okay. That's not enough. Okay. Let's just say then they go to the impeachment. Like they spent all this time on this impeachment and they're going, a lot of presidents have conversations and they talk about stuff, but in no way did he say there was a quid pro quo. No, there was nothing to do with the quid pro quo, right? He was they were having a conversation about what's going on in the country and legitimately was saying this guy who was vice president at the time he was vice president, what the hell happened? Like, how did he get this guy fired that was investigating his son? Like, we would like to know about that. Rice, thank you. I was going to say Price. I was putting a P on it. Thank you. Nadler, idiot, moron, or Nader. Yep, I hit him too. All these people. I mean, there's so many people. Like, at some point, like you just go, okay, that's the thing. That's the thing. All right, you have CNN and MSDNC. You have Pelosi. Oh, there's these huge spikes still in the COVID-19. And I look at every chart and all you see is it kind of like, I don't even see if it comes up from the floor of the chart. Like I'm trying to see and there's like, bleep, there's a bleep. Like these it's still out of control. I heard some guy say this today. Like the pandemic is still out of control and he doesn't care. What's out of control? I'm really not sure. I go to church for 3,000 people here in California and 30 kids go to the classrooms every day. Not every day, but every day we have service, Wednesdays and Sundays. And one service has over 3,000 people attend this church and nobody's getting sick. And I'm trying to figure out where it's what? It's still out of control. You got to wear masks. or else you're going to die. It's just like, okay, well, this has to be the thing, right? That they're lying to you. They're saying that nothing's happening and and then it's still an issue, when in fact it's not an issue. You can look at any graph and see that it's not an issue. You can see that the CDC says, you know what? Only 6% of the people actually died of COVID-19. And that may not even be true, because it's just some people just fill out forms really quickly. And even though they had cancer, they just wrote COVID-19. And so they're thinking that the number is actually somewhere lower, like 4 or 5 or 3% of people that actually died of COVID-19. The rest died of COVID-19, plus they were diabetic, they were overweight, they had other comorbidities. And I'm sure there's a large number of them that died of a car accident that had COVID-19 that they listed as COVID-19, right? We know that was happening. So these numbers are all jumbled up, but it wasn't COVID-19 necessarily that killed the other 94%, that it was because of other things. And so people are going crazy because of that information, but that information is good. That's good information. It's telling us, hey, if you have a teacher that is overweight, has diabetes, and is a smoker, maybe she shouldn't be working at the school, right? We know that. I mean, that's the good information. What they're looking at is, oh my God, we can't let that information out because it'll look good for Trump. That if in the United States we only had really 6% or 9,000 people that died from COVID-19, and every other country had hundreds of thousands. Oh my God, can you imagine how good Trump will look if only 9,000 are COVID-19 deaths? Oh my God, that would make him like almost godlike. we cannot have that. All right, read a story really quick that he said the military is a bunch of losers, and we're going to say that we don't have anybody that we can tell you because he doesn't want to get a bunch of bad tweets. I think that was our excuse. He didn't want to have a bunch of bad tweets. So okay, so let's say that's not it. How about this? I'm going to play you something with an interview of the pastor at the church that I go to, Pastor Jack Hibbs. He was being interviewed, and this is what's happening in California now. This is how crazy Democrats are. This is about the craziest it can get. So if the fact that they spied on an incoming president, and then they spied on the president using the FBI, using DOJ, using CIA, using whoever else they use, right? That's not enough to see that your party is full of lunatic politicians that are scared that they're going to lose their power, right? That doesn't do it for you. That Ukraine BS wasn't enough to do it to you. The lies that they're telling you about his response to COVID-19 is not enough to do it to you. That they're hypocrites is not enough to do it to you. I mean, I could go on. There's like 10 or 15 other things that off the top of my head I could come on. Yeah. You see, they're crazy. It is the funniest damn thing. How about Fox turning on? I don't care. What do I care what the media does? Again, the media is crazy, right? They're lunatics. And so I'm not sure what your point is. But my boy, California is losers and suckers. I think, and again, because the Democrats have this tendency to tell you that Donald Trump is this thing, right? This is what they are calling you as Democratic voters, suckers and losers. That's always the thing, right? Their thing is that they said he was a Russian spy when in fact they were the spies, right? They want to say that he was doing some quid pro quo when in fact it was Biden doing the quid pro quo. And then when there's no response, they say to the COVID-19, it was them, right? Who was still out partying. Nancy Pelosi was in Chinatown in San Francisco when Donald Trump said, let's close the borders to China, well, the planes where they can't fly in. She goes, no, we're going to go party in Chinatown, right? And so it's always the opposite. So I'm pretty sure that when Biden or when the Democrats are saying that he said this thing that the soldiers were a bunch of were losers and suckers, what the Democrats really mean is that their voters are losers and suckers. So that's where we're at on that issue. So, and that is pretty close to being the truth. They think that you are a sucker because you keep falling for their lies, and that you're a loser because they think that you want a bunch of free stuff because you're too lazy to get a job. That's how the Democratic Party feels about you. That's why they want to keep giving you free stuff, because they know that it's very unlikely that a bunch of losers and suckers will actually go and get a job, that they will simply go out there and loot and steal things that don't belong to them because they're a bunch of suckers and losers. And so what they're doing is just transposing what it is that their voters are and their supporters are. And that is simply the truth. And you keep falling for it. Again, if you don't read the book, 11 million, How to Kill 11 Million People, it's a bunch of people who did nothing. There's a bunch of people that said nothing. And there are people that got sucked into the lie and ended up dying because they sucked in the lie. I'm not telling you about the Jews are a bunch of suckers and losers. I'm just telling you they got sucked into the lie. They said, well, they said they're going to take us somewhere and we're going to go. But we've learned, right? They weren't suckers. We will be suckers and losers if we don't learn from the history. Right, from the history books. The history books, this isn't necessarily a history book. The history, though, is we will be the suckers and losers. We learned from people that didn't know better, right? They didn't have the internet. But the Democratic Party truly believed that Sam Squatch is a sucker and loser because of these. He truly believes what they're telling you is the truth. And that really is, quite frankly, the truth. So let me go ahead and get rid of my lower third here for 1 second so that I can show you a clip. This is from the interview. And Jack Hibbs is a fantastic pastor. He opened his church in California back in May. I've been attending since then, and it's fantastic. He's a fantastic teacher. I go there on Sundays with my children. My children go into classrooms with 30 other children. They don't wear masks. They have all the other stuff that they do, and they spray and do this other kind of stuff. And so far, things are pretty good. Again, I talk about this all the time, but I'm just going to repeat that about 9,000 to 12,000 people attend church. I can't tell you how many children are in the classrooms, but it's a lot, 30 to 40 children in each one of the classrooms, something like that. And we're perfectly fine. But he's a great pastor. He's been telling churches, hey, we got to open up. It's important. Churches are essential. If you can go to Costco and go shopping, if you can go to the marijuana store and buy marijuana, if you can go to the liquor store and buy liquor, you can go to church. If you go to Target or you can go to Walmart, then you can go to church. And it doesn't make any sense because churches are essential businesses or locations that people, and he says something else. He said it's no longer essential. It's something else. He gives it actually a better name. I'm kind of just shortening it up a little bit. If you don't know history, you are doomed to repeat it. Absolutely. Well, it is confirmed by multiple sources, and he publicly criticized McCain for being captured. McCain lost his way. And he explained that. And at the time, I wasn't for that either. I'm not saying that everything he says is fantastic. But McCain did do a lot of things. He took picture with ISIS and he supported the Iran deal and a bunch of other stuff that was really against America. And we learned that many of the things McCain did was not for America and what it is that we needed to be done. That doesn't mean that he was a coward at the time he got captured. And so I do have an issue with him saying that. But that's what he said. So does that mean, maybe you missed part of the show, but multiple sources have not confirmed that it's true. Show me, put the links for the multiple sources that say that it's true. I want to see the links that show. There are multiple links that said that's not true, is what I think you're missing, right? You're hearing somebody tell you, if you have the multiple sources, give them to me. Put them in the chat because I want to see the multiple choice. Don't give me a CNN news article with some talking hack who just simply says there's multiple sources. Remember that we heard Adam Schiff come on over and over and over again for the last 2 to 3 years before they found out that he was lying, that he said he had proof in his hands, right? Adam Schiff said that he had proof that Donald Trump was a Russian spy. You had Comey come on and say, we have proof that Donald Trump is a Russian spy. They had a number of people come on and say that there was proof. So again, if Adam Schiff is your source, you're going to have a little bit of a problem. if it's people that were actually there, including people that don't like Donald Trump, said he never said it. There's a number of people that were there that hate Donald Trump that said that he didn't say it. So you're going to have a little bit of a problem with that. Even right back, their own money frozen on 9/11 is not okay. All right, Boomer. It's not bad. Given one of our arch enemies, given one of our arch enemies billions of dollars is not bad, so that they could give it to the terrorists to kill our soldiers. Really? Have you? I mean, again, I'm glad you guys are commenting, because you're really making my point. This is what we're dealing with. Giving one of the worst countries, the only other country you could have given billions of dollars to is maybe North Korea, and given them a new leader instead of the idiot that they have. But at the time they gave the billions of dollars to Iran, you have two of the most horrific terrorists in our world's history who were killing thousands of people. You're saying, let me get this straight, you're saying it's not bad. It's not bad to give the most evil terrorists on the planet billions of dollars. My point made. This is one of the best. I'm going to make a, let me just, so I can take a picture of that later on. That is, wow. That is perfect. That may be one of the, do you have anything else, Greg? Because that was really good. I'm sure you have more. Because that was really good. I would love it, but I need to make room for this next thing. All right. So I'll bring it up later, because that was good. And then who are this other guy? What's his name again? Sam. Yeah. Again, you can say stuff. I mean, really. So, all right, I'm going to leave that alone, because I want to get to this clip. This is going to tell you. This is going to show you how evil the Democrat leadership is. Our leadership here in California, the governor of our state, the legislature of our state. This is how bad it is. Are you ready for this? This is going to blow your socks off. Especially if you have children in California, this will destroy you. And I'm going to bring it up. I want to look at comments, but I got to stop, because I'm never going to play this if I don't. All right, let me make it single. All right, so I'm gonna mute my mic. Okay, there's two things that are going to be said here that are really important. First, Jack is going to say that it's so important to understand who you're voting for. This is a really important point. I know, right? Sometimes we don't vote. I mean, I do. I've voted ever since I've been 18. But sometimes I know there's a lot of people that, it's not that important. But what does my vote matter? I live in California. We're the last state, blah, blah, blah. People say it doesn't really matter, right? And I know people still think that way. But what I want you to do is listen to why it's important and why you do not want to do that this November. Super Bowl. Now, again, most of you that are watching, I know you're going to vote, but not dimwits like Greg and Sam. They're going to probably vote for a moron. They're really going to vote for a guy who's essentially dead, right? Which is just so freaking stupid. I mean, I don't even know any other words to say it. So he first talks about that. So that's one. I want you to stick around for the next one in case you're thinking about clicking off during this video that I play. But there's one point, and then the moderator or the guy that's hosting the show will ask him a follow-up question. The second one will destroy you. The second answer to the question of facts, what is actually happening here in the state of California, will destroy you. Are you ready? Here we go. My bad. I was in such a hurry to get that back up. I got to remove it and put it back on. Hold on. So sorry. There's a little button I'm supposed to click, and I didn't do it in my haste. So let me make sure and do that this time. I'm sorry. It's my bad. All right. See, just like Trump, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have said what I said. All right, here we go. All right. I gotta mute my mic.
County or he was leasing he's been leasing a parking lot for 45 years, and suddenly they say you can't use that parking lot anymore. So they're coming after him. What kind of correspondence have you gotten from the California state government? Have they said shut down or else? What have they done?
We have gotten letters from 4 letters now from government saying that we've received complaints that you're meeting. We are asking you to view the governor's recommendations for gathering. We recognize that this is a difficult time. Thank you for your consideration. And then that individual, that official signs it. That immediately goes to our attorneys that are in the wings. They are, the good people, Frank, at ADF, they're our legal representation. So what all that means is, and friends, listen, this is so important. John MacArthur is in Los Angeles County. We're not in LA County. We are right on the edge of Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and Orange County, but our property sits in San Bernardino County, a very conservative government, and quite frankly, a very God-centric government. And let me tell you, the people that are in power and who we vote for matters, because here's John fighting for his life to keep his ministry open, where we, frankly, have a larger gathering, making a larger physical footprint than Grace Community, but we are seeing good weather regarding this. Why? Because those who are in charge, their worldview matters. It really makes a difference.
And I got to mention one other thing that I just forgot about this, Jack, but you and I talked about this by text today. The California state legislature just passed a law that basically would allow an adult to have sex with a minor and not be declared a sexual predator. What is going on out there, Jack?
Not only is that true, Frank, but the author of that bill is a known practice. He practices what we would say as Christians aberrant sexuality. He's got a history of putting bills like this forward, and here you go. This is what's called the supermajority. He wrote it. They all gave thumbs up to it. It becomes law. And that is, even if a child is at the age of, say, 13, 14 years of age, if the partner or perpetrator is within I think a 10-year time frame, Frank, then they cannot be prosecuted. They're off the hook. It's consensual. It's if that 11 or 12 or 13-year-old agrees to have sex with this 20-year-old, then it's all good and it's not a crime.
Yeah, that's where we're heading right now. This bill in particular, if I read it right, gives the judge discretion as to whether or not declare the individual register as a sex offender. Whatever it is, it's not good.
It's not good.
It means a 24-year-old could have sex with a consenting 14-year-old and not be declared a sexual predator. I mean,
that is a fact.
That's where we're going. If you don't think politics matters to the health and safety of your own children, the time is now to wake up, because that's what's going on right now.
Exactly.
All right, with that cheery news.
Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And these are the people that my Democratic friends are supporting. It is a shock to me that people are so moronic, that are people that I used to think had some intelligence. Again, I'm friends with professors at major universities. I'm friends with people that have taught in churches, at men's groups, people that are leaders in communities and building. And these are the people that they're voting for and supporting. But here we go. Here's Greg again. Should we steal money that was invested in America? That's not okay. Listen, Greg. At the time, the billions of dollars was given back to Iran, was when they were at their peak at killing us and interested in killing us. We could have held on to that money and say, hey, once you stop killing us and you have proven yourself, then we will give you your money back. But whatever it is, it was not the time. I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to have a shot of my whiskey that I have sitting here. I'm having here, just bought this bottle of Knob Creek Rye. Knob Creek Rye, right? But I need something because I'm choking. Hey, Kelly. Now you get some water, maybe that'll be better. Choking on something. I threw down a burrito really fast, so it got stuck. So this is really the craziest thing, right? And this is where we're at. This is how we have incredibly misinformed voters. And I don't know, Greg maybe just doesn't know. I don't know how old Greg is. He can't be an adult. He must be a child, because this is a very childish look at international affairs, right? We have been taken advantage of by other countries, including Iran and Germany and China, and you could go on, right? You could go on. Syria, the border. We've provided security for nearly every country probably on the planet, and yet we get nothing in return. Iran is busy killing our soldiers, busy being terrorists and funding terrorists and harboring terrorists. And Greg's worried if we steal money from a terrorist. The reason I'm laughing is it's just a great. It's like, this is the point. I'm so happy I did the show, because this is what I was talking about. This kind of silliness, that when you're dealing with countries and international affairs, that you have a president who's finally saying enough of us being the rest of the country's police. If you want to pay us, maybe we can put some people in some strategic places to help you out and train your people, make them do better, and we can be a part of it. Let us help you be better stewards of the world, right? We just stop the shit. Stop killing people. Stop terrorizing people. Stop hating people that don't believe the way that you believe. And this guy, Greg, maybe he's 6. Maybe Carol's right. He's got to be 6, because it doesn't make any sense. That's the same thing. Maybe he's. I mean, that's the law. And I think listen. I brought my 6-year-old to ask him questions just like this. Hey, son, which he's not here. He's across the street over at the neighbor's house. Son, I would ask him, right? It would be pretty good if he was here right now, because I would probably ask him, hey, son, listen, if your brother was terrorizing you every night and torturing you, and you had some money that you owed him from, him loaning it to you to go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee and that kind of stuff, but he was terrorizing you every night, what do you think would be better? Would it be better to give him back his money while he's being an asshole? Or, now I wouldn't say that to the 6-year-old, I'm saying that to you. Or would you say, hey, I owe you some money. What I want you to do, though, before I give you your money back, is to stop terrorizing me. And if you do that, if you stop terrorizing me for, let's say, a month, I would be happy to give you your money back. But the problem is that I don't like what you're doing. It hurts. It makes me sad. It makes me cry. And I don't want to reward you. And I know it's your money, but I don't want to reward you for what it is you're doing to me. How about this? How about you just not torture me for a month? And I will give you your money back, and I'll give you some interest. How about that? That's called what it's called. Great. It's called a negotiation. And that is what is important, that needs to be done in our entire world. You have a country that is terrorizing not only our country, but its neighboring countries. And you're saying, but listen, we got to give them their money back because we have it, right? It doesn't make any sense. We're not dealing with just a simple transaction between me and you, right? This is a country, a terrorist country, one of our biggest enemies on the planet. Can you imagine if Donald Trump, we owed Russia $2 billion. Let's just say that. Let's just say we owe Russia $2 billion. And right now, like tonight, like we're all sleeping. Can you imagine if Donald Trump said, hey, Mike Pompeo, hey, Mike, I got this cash. I got $2 million in cash, which you remember it was cash that was sent by Obama to Iran. I got this cash. We owe it back to Russia. I know we got an election coming up. I know they're threatening to interfere in our election, but we owe them the money. They've been nice guys. They said they're not gonna do. They said that they're not going to interfere in our election if we give them back the $2 billion. And so, Mike, while everybody's sleeping at night, could you take this $2 billion, load it on a big cargo plane, and go fly it to Russia, and just do it at night? We won't make a press release. We won't tell anybody. We won't tell Nancy. We won't tell Adam. We won't tell Nadler. We won't tell Schumer. As a matter of fact, we won't tell anybody. We're going to just go take him $2 billion. Greg, I ask you as a 6-year-old, how well do you think that would go over? Do you think anybody would go, he's right, we owed Russia $2 billion. He's right. Trump was right. He should have given back the money. And Nancy would have said, everything else I've said about you, you were right about that you should have given them back their $2 billion that we owed them. That should have been fine. Let's see what he has to say. He had a new one here. We have another one. We carpet bombed and murdered tens of thousands of innocent Muslims to hide our own crimes. We did? What? Show me that. Show me that when we did that. When we carpet bombed Muslims. Please, Greg. You are very entertaining, and you are exactly what I'm talking about. I think we need to 5150 you. I think that if you could, you maybe should give me your phone number or your address, maybe your address, and I will send a police officer over there. You probably hate police officers too, I'm guessing, based on what your remarks are. I mean, again, Democrats hate police. And so maybe I think you need an intervention. I think I should send the police over to save you from yourself. Yeah, I think you're going to be a danger to yourself and a danger to others. So if you wouldn't mind giving me your address, so I can send the cops over to 5150 you. You don't know what 9/11 is about. Yes, I know. I think it was Carol. I think Carol actually and her friends, I think that she's responsible for 9/11. Hey, Greg, we have plane loads of cash to terrorists, the same terrorists responsible for 9/11. Like a fart in the church. These are the people we're dealing with. This is the problem. This is exactly. Greg is exactly. I don't know what happened to Sam. Sam was pretty entertaining there for a second, but he's decided that he doesn't want to participate. What the hell? All right. So back to, I'm so sorry. Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Carol. And I don't mean to, I'm laughing at the stupidity. I'm laughing at the stupidity of our California government. Did you hear what Jack said about the pedophilia? And then now making it okay, that it's no longer a crime to have sex with somebody that's 10 years younger than you, even if you're 24 and they're 14, even if you're 20 and they're 10, as long as the 10-year-old said it's okay, right? You're no longer a sexual predator if you have sex with a 10-year-old, as long as they said it's okay. When did that become okay? I was in sex crimes as a police officer. It was never okay, right? I knew that I used to have trouble sometimes with cases involved with 20-year-olds having sex with 17-year-olds that were in love in high school, and yet they got pregnant, that kind of stuff. But the thing is, what's important about some prosecutors, now I don't think that we ever made them 290 registrants. I don't believe. But the important thing is in following through when a parent wants to prosecute the 20-year-old for having sex with a 17-year-old and they're having a child together, is to keep them connected. That what you're trying to do with this conviction, if when you get one, is not necessarily to harm the future of the 20-year-old who out of passion was with the 17-year-old. You know, at some point, you know, they were probably together when he was 8. I'm trying to come up with a date, 70 and whatever, right? I'm trying to bring them together, but there can be a year or two between an adult and a minor, right? Those are terribly complicated, that kind of stuff. But my the city attorney and the district attorney that I would have to go see with these cases with, they would follow through with the prosecution. And part of the probation is that the father made sure that part of his probation is that he provides for the mother and the child. And that made me feel a little bit better between the year difference between an adult and a minor. Do you see what I'm saying? And so as a sex crimes detective, I told you this before, 500 to 600 cases a year, each detective, and there were 4 detectives. That's a lot of sex crimes. And many of those sex crimes involved a year difference between an adult and a minor. And then the parent of the minor would press charges against the adult. And then I would go, oh man, if you just wait 6 months, they'll both be adults. And the attorney would say no, because what happens is, especially when they're that young, is that the father ends up taking off, and now the mother's left with the child with no financial support whatsoever. Now, if the husband or the boyfriend or the father never gets a job and that kind of stuff, it really doesn't matter. But as part of the probation, you say part of your probation is being responsible for that child and helping the mother with money, whether you want to be in that child's life or not. It's making sure that they have a financial responsibility to make sure that child is taken care of. And I think that's important, and staying in that child's life. And that is one of the problems with what's happening in lower income communities, Black communities, is that the biggest problem is, and every study will tell you this, including even the children who grow up to be adults to say the biggest problem that made it difficult for me to get ahead is that my father was not present, is that the father is not part of the child's life. And with these laws that I follow through, it began to make sense to me that we have to find ways, whether it's with probation or not. And sometimes the baby daddies were assholes, right? That you really didn't want in a child's life because they were gangbangers or drug dealers and that kind of stuff. But in many instances, some of them would straighten up their life and get a lot better and that kind of stuff. So in the end, if we could help a child have a father's presence in their life, the likelihood of them doing much better in life is increased. You have a higher percentage of children that have a father, mother, whether they're together in marriage or not. As long as there's a father influence of some sort, you're more likely to have a better influence. And so that really was important. And so back to this thing is that this is ridiculous, though, right? That you can actually have a molester, find a child 10 years younger than them and not be found to be a child molester. It's just the craziness. And that is the problem with the Democratic Party. They're lunatics. We're seeing this with some of these comments, and it is just incredibly crazy. I know what those personal. I don't know what he's saying. Bin Laden told the truth. 9/12 when he said it was done by Americans for personal reasons. Okay, boomer. And then that's why he was on the run for however long. And then Biden didn't want him killed, right? And Biden didn't want Osama bin Laden killed. All right. There you go. All right. Andy sent you a picture in Messenger of the guy who wrote the bill. Let me hold on. I gotta go to Facebook. All right. I know now this is kind of turning into a conversation. So I hope that's okay with you guys that are watching. But I am sad and just dismayed. Dismayed, that's a good word, right? That's correct how I used it. With friends of mine that have they're lost, and I'm so confused as to what happened to them. Where did they lose their way? Where did they lose their smarts? Where did they lose their common sense? It is truly a mystery. It's a mystery as to what the hell happened. And I love my friend Amy, who comes on my show and has become what? Which guy is it? Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Let me do a screen share. Go to my Facebook page. Here we go. Here's the guy. I wonder if Greg's in that picture. Wow. Which one is he, Amy? It's the Kool-Aid. It's the Kool-Aid. Yeah. What, Amy? Which one? Oh, sorry. That way. Which one of the guys is it? The guy in the middle? Is it which one of the guys is the pedophile who wrote the bill? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one of those 6 guys it is because they're. I'm glad if I ever wear an outfit like that, would you please kill me? Would you would you please put me out of my misery? And their pants are unbuttoned. Look at this guy right here with his pants are unbuttoned. I'm sure you can't see my pointer. Lordy be alive. Tell me it's the guy with the pants undone. Oh, I can't take it anymore. I got to take that off the screen. I can't have. Alex Jones is making your Kool-Aid with Jim and Van Jones. Huh? I'm not sure what that means. With Jim and Van Jones. I don't know. I'm guessing that's probably pretty intelligent, whatever he said. The tall guy in the middle. I had a feeling it was that guy, the guy who stands out. Yeah, what a creep. I'm jealous of a 6-pack, though. Dang it. I want that 6-pack. It's the Kool-Aid. You bought the Bush's con. Well, obviously, you're not a watcher of my show because I told you I didn't vote for Bush. There you go. I did not because I knew he was lying to me, and so sorry, pal. You missed on that one, and you're missing on a lot of them. You're kind of wrong. But thank God Greg Bow is 6 years old. I'm glad I cussed. I'm sorry. I used adult language when I had a 6-year-old watching. I'm very sorry for you Try to follow your own conversation. Conversation. What did I say? I must have missed something. But yeah, I didn't vote for Bush because I thought he was a liar. And so is Colin Powell. So I'm not quite sure where you're going to go with that. All right, my friends. I don't know. Only thing I can do is I've had minor conversations with them. It only turns bad. You're just a Trumpster, and they end up like Greg. They turn into 6-year-olds. Even these grown adults, even these guys that are just like professionals in these places of what used to be honor are now ridiculous Gregs, right? They're just only dumber. Like Greg at least is having a conversation, right? At least he's holding a conversation about the stupidity. It's dumb. They're dumb comments, but at least he's hanging true. Like the comments I get from these people that used to be intelligent are, oh yeah, well you're stupid. That's how it always ends. He just did that. Well, so he's kind of doing that. He finally got there. You are both liars. You're a liar. I heard my 6-year-old say that the other day, and that is it. I mean, but at least he waited, right? He may be 6.5, where my friends who again are fairly had been fairly intelligent in the past. Yeah, they were. So what are you trying to tell me? They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were no weapons of mass destruction. There was nothing, but they told us there were. That's what they lied about. Again, you're so off track. No, you're crazy. I love you though. I love having you on. Can you make sure and come on all my shows because you provide me with extra information that I can use and you prove my point. This is the problem with politicians. Donald Trump is not a Republican, I don't feel, nor is he a Democrat. He is Donald Trump. He is a businessman. He is the party of a businessman, leaning more so on the conservative side of things. He is pro-life. He was pro-Christian. I know he's probably never set foot in a church. I know all that, but what we're doing is we're voting for the policies. What we're voting for is not necessarily the man. I'm also not voting for his past. I'm not voting for everything that he says. I don't agree with everything that he says. So I'm staying on the conversation that we have a man who has kept his promises of nearly everything that I vote for or that I think of. That is way more than any other politician I voted for, other than maybe Reagan, right? So Reagan did a lot of great stuff. But even him, did I agree with everything that he said? No. But a large portion since Reagan, there has been not even Bush, none of the Bushes, right? I mean, I agreed maybe with half of what they said. But they are our president, and I honor the president, and I would have saluted the president if I had been in a position to salute the president. Because why? Because of the president of the United States. I would have saluted Obama. I hate the guy's guts. He's the most corrupt politician that we've ever had in our government, along with Biden, also one of the most corrupt politicians we've had in our government. And yet, if I was ever in a position where I had to salute them, I would have to salute them based on who I am as a person. Maybe you wouldn't, and maybe I would. I definitely wouldn't do it now. Now I'd say you are a mother effing bullshit. I would say, because no, he's not in position now. He's just a former president. Donald Trump, on the other hand, I am there with about 95% of everything he's done. I am not a big fan of some of these crime reforms. I'm a police officer. Criminals need to go to jail. Criminals need to be punished. And I am sorry. That's kind of how I feel. But Donald Trump has been, and again, you can't say enough about a guy who can make all of these promises come true. And some of them are almost there. Not all of them, but some of them are almost there. And he's done it while he's been investigated, while he's been attacked, while he's had, everybody but and Greg and everybody else against him. He still has gotten more done, like a salmon swimming up a stream running at 100 miles an hour, right? And is incredibly successful in doing so many things that many people said that he couldn't do, right? There are people who said it's impossible. It will take a magic wand to get what he says he wants to get done. And yet he got it done in spite of being investigated, in spite of being targeted by the press. He was still able to get it done. And yet now you have this stupid article come out, and everybody's like going, this is true. Like tomorrow, they literally can write an article. This is how it works, right? You can write an article in one of these rags that nobody reads. I had never even heard of the magazine before that came out with this article. I don't even know. It could be the Inquirer for all I know. But an article could come out in any magazine that says Donald Trump called what's the guy's name on CNN who's gosh, I can't. Oh man, I wish I would have used a different one now because now I can't think of his name. He has blonde hair, short blonde hair. His mother is a movie actress. Come on, Amy, give me his name. Oh, can't think of his name. I know it's going to pop up here. So I tip my tongue. What's his name? Blonde hair, CNN. Gay. Mom's an actress. Come on, pop up. I'm on the part of the show that I could just kind of. No, not Lemon. He's black. Is Lemon gay? Is he really? I didn't know he was gay. If he is, Anderson Cooper. So thank you. Thank you, Greg. See, Greg knows. He watches CNN. Nobody else knew because they don't watch CNN. Blitzer. No, it's Anderson Cooper. So an article is going to come out tomorrow. This is what I think is going to happen. It's either going to be something that Donald Trump said all police are a bunch of pussies. I think that's what's going to come out. An article that says the other day after a cop got killed, Donald Trump said that cop is a pussy because he got shot and killed. That it's going to be either that or an article is going to come out that says Donald Trump after the cameras are turned off told Anderson Cooper that he was a fag. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be a big lie, and it's going to be that. But literally, anybody can write an article in a newspaper, in a magazine, a blog, and just say crap and say, my source that told me that he said that, I can't tell you who he is because he doesn't want bad tweets. That's what they said about the guy who wrote the article yesterday, that he didn't want to get a bunch of bad tweets. So that's the way. Thank you, Amy. Anderson Cooper. That's the one. I don't know why I picked a guy that I couldn't think of his name right now. I'm horrible with names. Have you noticed, Amy? Have you noticed anybody else? That is not my superpower. Birth dates and names is not my superpower. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you everybody joining. And Greg, I love you. I'm glad. I'll pray for you and hope that someday you'll get better. And if you do need help, send me your address. I will send the police to have you 5150 because Trump hates puppies. Yeah, that's next. It's gonna be something, right? It's just like the worst thing you could have said. And of course, you have a bunch of people believe is that you said that Trump said a bunch of military guys back in World War I were dumb and whatever else it was. I already forget what he said. All right, it's just like and people believe it, and they're like going like crazy. I didn't think like this won't last long. No, they're lunatics. They need some serious help. These people. All right, my friends, thank you for joining. I really do appreciate you watching. I didn't even do my sponsors today, but go on to my podcast. Please subscribe. Go to the Andy Falco Show on iHeartRadio, Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, all the podcasting platforms. You can go on there, just type in the Andy Falco Show. Please subscribe. Again, you don't necessarily have to listen. I would appreciate it if you subscribe, and we're going to begin building this over the next several months and hopefully get it into some numbers that are fairly decent and do it very quickly. And I would really, really appreciate that very much. All right. When I was with YouTubing, you'll learn. Watch my YouTube, you'll learn things. Oh, I would yeah, okay. Bow and arrow. Bo. Okay, Bo, come here. I'm gonna ask it. So, Bo, come here. Come here, my son. There you go. There you got your pop there. You shouldn't have pop at this late at night. It's 9:18. Hey, so Bo. Mm-hmm. So let's say if somebody's picking on you, right? Mm-hmm. Like pulling your hair, mm-hmm. kicking you, mm-hmm. throwing dirt into your face, mm-hmm. and you owed them money.
What?
and you owed them some money. Say you borrowed some money from them, like $2 or something like that.
Wait, what do you mean?
You sound like Greg. All right. So let's say that Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Parker. So Parker's been picking on you,
Mm-hmm.
like pushing you down and making you cry,
Mm-hmm.
pulling your hair,
Mm-hmm.
kicking you.
Mm-hmm.
But before he started doing that, you had borrowed some money from him. Let's say like $10.
Okay.
Okay. So now he's picking on you though, and making you cry, and he's making you sad, and you really don't like him anymore.
Okay.
But you owe him that $10.
Okay.
Would you rather give him that $10 while he's still picking on you, or would you say, "Hey, if you stop picking on me, I will give you the $10"? What would you do?
I would, if he was stopped picking on me, I would give it the $10.
Right. You know what?
What?
You are incredibly smart. You are a lot smarter than Greg. I love you, buddy. All right. A 6-year-old. Stop. Perfect. All right. Break out the big crayons. Greg, go get your crayons. My 6-year-old just taught you a little bit about international affairs. Wait until they stop doing what they're doing and then give them their money back. There you go. All right, Greg. Hopefully you'll learn something from my 6-year-old because he's extremely smart, very smart boy. And that didn't take much, right? There was just a little discussion, kind of explaining him the outcome, and there we go. We have exactly what I'm talking about. Let's give them their money back because we owe it to them. It doesn't matter that they're killing us and they're killing our military. No, we owe it to them. What are you thinking? Give them their money. Both looking at me like, Dad, you've lost your mind. Give them their money. You owe it to them. Who cares that they're killing your family? That you owe them the money, stupid. All right, my friends, I do love you and I will pray for you. And I appreciate you guys very much. You guys are great. I had tons of fun. It's a Friday night and everything's all right. All right, my friends. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.